Let's start at the top of the Premier League table then. Arsenal, 5 points clear, Danny. Can anyone catch them?
Yes, but I think it's unlikely. I think Manchester City would be their most realistic rivals. 5 points. If City get in their groove and if they find something that they haven't found so far this season, then they've got every chance. They've got the experience of hunting teams down, of chasing teams down. We've seen it time after time. They've done that.
But is this City side sitting in second as ominous a side?
No, it's not. And that's what, if they find that form. Yeah. I think, when you've seen it in the past, the players that they've had, the goals from everywhere, players score, not just, at the moment, it's just Erling Haaland, it seems. Foden's coming to a little bit of form. But I think what you see with Manchester City, there's a vulnerability still there. There's an air of, are City going to go on one of those 15, 16 game winning streaks?
Whereas there doesn't seem to be much vulnerability about Arsenal.
No, there's not. And that's what it is. Arsenal are picking up points and picking up wins when they're not playing particularly well and finding a way to win. And that's all credit to them. And they've just got to keep doing that. They've got to keep grinding out results. There will be performances where they are not scintillating. They are not fantastic to watch, but they just have to win games. No one cares if you win the league. There will be, even the great City sides, Manchester United, Arsenal, there was always performances, more than a handful, that were a bit dour at time, but they nicked a last-minute winner. They nicked a set-piece winner. And that's what Arsenal have got to keep doing. They've come so close on so many occasions now. I think this is their real opportunity. If they don't do it now, then I think Mikel Arteta might come under a little bit of fire.
Got another test to pass at the weekend when they go to Aston Villa. And a Villa win would move them to within 3 points of the leaders. And Villa are, they're flying at the moment. After that slow start, they're really going now. Yeah,
but again, you expect them to drop away. Are Villa going to continue that sort of form? You can only, to win the Premier League, you can lose by 4 games maximum, within that. Do I see Villa losing more than that this season? Probably, it is the answer. Can't concede 4 goals and expect to win 5-4 every week, for one. I think, we were expecting Chelsea to come close, but again, they go and lose to Leeds in a really poor performance. They're vulnerable this season. Arsenal are the most consistent. And if they can keep that up, I think it's almost Arsenal's to lose this season.
Chelsea, now 9 points off the top after losing it at Leeds. Young side, lot to like about what they're doing, but Gary Neville said that he thought they looked underprepared for what they were going to face at Ellen Road last night.
Yeah, I think
that looked that way too.
Yeah, I think they got out-muscled, out-fought. When you look at the spine of that side, if you take Caicedo out of it, it's not the strongest in the world. The striker's going to score 20 goals. Probably not, is the answer. Delap's young and he's going to get better, but is he going to get you 20 goals this season? I would say unlikely. Is anyone else going to get 20 goals as a number 9? Probably not, no. Centre-back, again, look vulnerable at times, haven't quite managed to do that. The goalkeeper, it isn't as strong as they've had in the past. So Chelsea are that team at the moment where they will have some magnificent performances, but because of the age of their side and the style of players that they've got, they will be inconsistent from time to time. And I think Chelsea will just lose too many games to win the title this year.
And just coming back to City on the theme of inconsistency, they won that bonkers game at Fulham the other night, but they were hanging on at the end. They needed a last-minute winner against Leeds, having lost to Newcastle and Leverkusen, but before that. Why is there this inconsistency with Guardiola's side at the moment?
Quality of players.
Yeah.
When you look at the quality that Guardiola had after that first season, where he made all his changes and he got in the players that he wanted, and bearing in mind he had some very, very good players before he came in. He tweaked it and added to that. They had a certain way of playing. He was able to get the best out of that team. David Silva, Bernardo Silva, sometimes unplayable, exceptional. And then even when Sergio Aguero, was out injured, they managed to find a false 9 in a way to play. Kevin De Bruyne came into that. Gundogan scored 15-odd goals that season. Their defence was exceptional. Their goalkeeper was magnificent. You had Cancelo, when he first became that inverted fullback, was unplayable almost. the quality of their squad at one point and the quality of their bench was full internationals, and they had 2 top Premier League sides. They don't have that anymore.
How many players short are they of being that sort of level again, do you think?
4 or 5, I would say. When you look at the team, if you go back to, Company was in that. I think the fullbacks, Kyle Walker was in that side. Cancelo was on the other side. Fernandinho, I think, was in that early team. And then Gundogan came into it, Kevin De Bruyne, David Silva, Bernardo Silva, Sergio Aguero, Riyad Mahrez within that. It was off the charts. You went and you just went, no matter what team they played, you went, it's going to be a tough game today. Now you're looking at it and going, oh, there's a little bit of a chink in the armour. We can, if they're not at full tilt, we can get at this City side. And I think that's where they've lost that air of invincibility.
Yeah, they are 5 points behind the league leaders. Arsenal, Arsenal's title to lose, as Danny said there. Many saying they could well run away with this title. But we're going to go to Dave now, who's going to tell us why we could be in for a title race for the ages.
Well, potentially, yeah, potentially. I've got the top 4 here. So we've got Mikel Arteta, Pep Guardiola, Unai Emery and Enzo Maresca as well. But let's show you, put into a little bit of context, really, how the potential race for the Premier League title is going to go. And certainly, let's take a look at the top 4 and how their league position has altered since the start of the season. Now, you can see the dates along the bottom here, and obviously we've got league position as well in the vertical. Now, each line that you can see here represents one of the teams inside that top 4 right now. I guess one consequence of a bunched-up league this season means that positions have fluctuated actually quite significantly since the start of the season back in August. Now, the red dotted line is Arsenal, follow the light blue for Manchester City, the dark blue is Chelsea. But what I really wanted to highlight here was this green line, which is why you can see it a little bit brighter and bolder on your screen. That is Aston Villa. Look at how they started the season. They didn't score a Premier League goal until the back end of September. They were languishing as well in the bottom 3, but just look how things have changed. It's 8 wins in 9 games. They have shot up the table. They are 3rd, just 6 points behind Arsenal, who, as we've been talking about, they play on Saturday. So if Aston Villa can come from nowhere, can someone else come from nowhere? Are Liverpool too far back? Manchester United? Can either of those two chase Arsenal at the top?
I will take that bet on for you.
I thought that might be the case.
Yes. You're not going to have a very good Christmas. That's a bet you're going to lose. No, I think it's very, very difficult for anybody. Villa, will they have the consistency? Chelsea, will they have the consistency? Even at this stage, I think if you finish above Manchester City, you win the league. Simple as that. I think, City have got good enough players and the wherefore, done it time and time again, they'll be there or thereabouts. Again, it's Arsenal's to lose. It's in their hands. They've got the experience. They've come close a few times. They've now got a much better squad than they've ever had. You'd have to say if Arsenal don't win it this season, that's probably opportunity gone.
Nice try, Dave.
Never mind.
Got to give it a go.
Yeah. Back next week.
Danny, Dave, thanks very much indeed for now. Lots more still to come for you. Manchester United in action.
This is why Arsenal will be EPL champions. Full analysis. Arsenal have received an encouraging piece of early news ahead of their upcoming match against Aston Villa at the weekend. The Gunners are preparing to meet a Villa side in impressive form, a team that have often proved difficult opponents when Arsenal have needed a crucial victory. On several previous occasions, the Villains have disrupted Arsenal's momentum, and they will certainly welcome the opportunity to do so once more. After a difficult opening to the season, Villa have climbed to 3rd place in the league standings and have secured victories in each of their last 4 league fixtures. Their recent performances place them among the most in-form clubs in the division, and they will feel confident of causing problems when they host the Gunners in a few days. Villa's form and Arsenal's challenge. Arsenal understand the scale of the task that awaits them, particularly given Villa's strong record and the intensity with which Unai Emery's side have been playing. Their ability to maintain pressure and punish defensive lapses has been a key element of their rise up the table. For Arsenal, this match represents both the test of resilience and an opportunity to reinforce their position near the top. Even so, the Gunners will welcome one of the latest fitness updates emerging from Villa Park. It appears that Emi Martinez may not be available for the fixture. Martinez, who previously played for Arsenal before establishing himself as one of the world's leading goalkeepers at Villa, experienced discomfort during the warm-up for the recent match against Brighton. His unexpected withdrawal has cast uncertainty over his availability for the upcoming encounter. Although the severity of the issue remains unclear, Martinez was visibly troubled, prompting immediate medical attention. Speaking as cited by Standard Sport, Unai Emery explained, "He was feeling pain in his back. He couldn't even do a warm-up normally. We have Marco, who is a fantastic guy and professional." The development provides Arsenal with a potential advantage, although Villa remain a formidable opponent regardless of their goalkeeping situation.